Good shape, have at least 50 partners, right? Sexual body count.
What's up, guys? This is Sage, and we are going to analyze part of this video featuring Myron Gaines of Fresh and Fit versus a Christian. Just in case, I do not endorse everything Myron Gaines advises to men and women, nor do I particularly, like the way he conveys information on his podcast and videos. I am merely showing a clip and pointing out all of the truths in them and some criticisms. I'm going to be as objective as I can, whether watching someone I agree with or not. Truth is truth no matter who it's coming from. So let's get started.
So can I ask a quick synopsis of what you think the prescription is for society today for men? In a short version, what do you think they should do to be successful with women?
To be successful with women,
Yeah.
Okay, are we talking about like getting a girl for a long-term relationship, just to get laid? What are we talking about?
Well,
here?
I think the only reason should be for a long-term relationship and marriage. I mean, that's Jesus Christ founded it, but I'm just curious what your prescription is.
This will clearly depend on who you want to attract, what type of relationship you are seeking to get into. So those are good clarifications or questions from Myron.
Well, I've talked about this. I think guys have to have certain things in place, right, before they want to get into a long-term relationship. It's 5 things. So I would say $100K per year, 6 figures a year.
6 figures a year is something a man can strive for having the ultimate advantage in dating and dating options. We men don't really have to make 6 figures to date and find a wife. The thing men have to think about is making enough money to take care of himself and possibly take care of his wife or girlfriend without any stress to his finances. Men have to be prepared. Even if a woman has her own career and everything, he has to be prepared to take the wheel if she suddenly decides not to work, to focus on raising the kids. Anything can happen. She may go back to work, or she may choose to be at home. I would argue that most women would never object to a situation where she has the choice to work and doesn't have to work. An option instead of a must.
Savings.
Savings is a general rule for men and women. This is so you have good cushion if anything happens. No one wants to be in a situation where they are out of money and lose their home or job, but nothing to give you some ample grace time to seek a new home or a new job. So no problem here with that advice.
Be in good shape. Have at least 50 partners, right? Sexual body count.
Now, this is where we will disagree. Making sure you are in good health is something we should all strive toward, men and women, if you want to maintain your mind and your body into old age. I know I want to feel good and be physically mobile when I'm in my 60s and 70s. And it is a fact that typically, if you are in your best physical shape, you will be more attractive. People desire healthy mates. A man or woman doesn't have to sleep around in order to vet a future partner. Simply getting to know them on dates for a long period of time can be sufficient. Although it is true that if you sleep with a woman, you can find out more about the mental and physical things you wouldn't have known had you not experienced that level of intimacy. So there's some truth to experience, but there's no particular number on it If I want to be charitable here, Myron I assume, is just getting men to experience women to a point where they are no longer distracted by a woman's physical beauty. They are able to operate in the realm of rationale and reason instead of their hormones, able to vet properly with a sober mind. When you are used to seeing beautiful women, you are less susceptible to falling into toxic relationships. There's guys out there because they are blinded by beauty or they're love struck. They stay in stress-filled relationships. So experience is one of the ways we learn. Just like the more rejection you experience, the more confident you are when it comes to approaching women. And the less angry you are about getting rejected. You basically turn into a mature, healthy, sober adult with everyone you encounter and everything in life.
All right, and then is that the last one?
And then there's one more, but that's fine. You could go ahead and
Okay.
engage with what I've said so far.
So the reason I asked that is I've watched almost every single podcast you ever did for about a year and a half. So much so that I bought into a lot of the things that you said. And for about 2 years, it led me astray and significantly damaged my personal life, including relationships.
How did it lead you astray?
Well, you told me to go sleep with a bunch of women and date multiple women at the same time, which I did, and it significantly damaged my life.
The Christian made a claim that going out with many women and sleeping with them damaged his life. Now the question is how it damaged his life.
And it wasn't until I actually turned around and started listening to Jesus Christ that I was saved. Now I'm happily married. I have one child now with another one on the way, and I've never felt happier. But I felt...
Congratulations, that's good. That's really good.
Thank you. And I know you're not against that, but my concern is what you're saying to men leads them astray, because I'm a walking example of it. And I think you're significantly damaging people, and especially you're leading people away from morality. Women are not sex objects. Women are created in the image of God, and they are valuable. And they should be treated as such. Why should God give you one of his children if you don't even know how to treat them? So I think...
So a question for you. You said you got out there dating and meeting women and stuff like that. And then you said that it kind of hurt you.
Yeah.
How did it hurt you specifically? Did you like just start? What happened specifically?
This is a fair question. He has to give an example of the damage he claims that has been done. It has to be more than just Jesus told me not to sleep around or date a bunch of women. It's the same question as what is the damage in looking at a woman with natural sexual desire. My take is that wanting to be physical with a woman or with women is a natural thing. It's people who you are naturally attracted to. It's perfectly normal and healthy as long as both parties are into it. I have yet to hear a case against desiring intimacy from women in a consensual, safe, and healthy manner. If a Christian claims that it is a sin, this claim has to be demonstrated. He has to demonstrate that there is a supernatural being, demonstrate that hell and heaven exist, and people are sent there for doing certain things. Demonstrate that God has a direct connection to the Bible that he, I assume, upholds, and demonstrate that this supernatural being interacts with our world in a detectable way.
Well, I started warring against my own flesh. It's like trying to fill an empty void. Mm-hmm. There's a God-shaped vacuum in the heart of every man that can only be filled by God alone. Anything else you try to fill with that's not going to satisfy it. Sure. And I tried to do it with sex.
Yeah. So
he said Jesus or faith satisfies. My take is that there is nothing in the world that will give you satisfaction or be totally fulfilling. Painting, running, playing sports, listening to music, reading, working on projects are things that induce a sort of satisfaction or fulfills us. But it's only for a moment. And then you have to repeat it to achieve that happiness and fulfillment again. You may adopt other things to fill your heart, quote unquote. We switch or advance to other purposes. Not even religion gives you long-lasting happiness. You have to always be refilled, like other things I have listed. Religion doesn't prevent pain, struggles, strife, and failures in life. It doesn't even hold marriages together. It is, from what I've observed and looked into, is a person's experience, a person's mindset that helps one to maintain a desired quality lifestyle and relationship, not a supernatural God. It's the choice we make, the risk we take, the things, philosophies we choose to consume. Our experiences can be a great teacher, and hearing the experiences of others.
Would it be fair? How'd you meet your wife?
We actually had the #1 dating podcast in North and South Carolina called Who Hurt You Podcast.
Okay.
And I'm also friends with Fresh. I know him very well. I texted him before I came here.
Yeah.
And I know pretty much everyone on your crew. But I was a heavy follower, and you actually inspired me to start the podcast, and I realized what I was doing was wrong.
Yeah, so would it be fair to say that when you went through that experience, you were able to identify characteristics that you probably found as unredeemable and you probably wouldn't want to commit to, right?
In what way?
He had to utilize the advice. Those experiences shaped the focus of his glasses to see the red flags and green flags as he navigated the dating landscape. He doesn't want to admit it, though.
Well, when you were seeing these women, right, you probably started seeing patterns in how they behave, how they speak or whatever. Maybe they're not qualified to be a wife. Because the thing is, right?
Well, I don't need that. I have the Bible for that. It tells me what to look for.
The Bible briefly touches on finding a mate because remember the Bible is, as far as I know, a book written by men, which means it will have many human-like topics like any other book you read from the past to now. There is nothing special or supernatural about its proclamations about love, war, peace, compassion, etc. Note, he still has not told how he damaged his life. Note, he has not told how he damaged his life.
Yeah, but the thing is that you were able, and again, you're probably not going to notice it, but when you dated and dealt with all these women, you probably were able to identify characteristics that you were not fond of, or characteristics that would make a woman not a good candidate for a long-term relationship. And I think half the game is figuring out which girls don't qualify for marriage versus which ones that do.
Dating and meeting people helps us get to know ourselves and others and what personalities or traits that are compatible with us.
And clearly you learned a skill set on how to become attractive and get women, and then you're able to identify the things that you like versus the things that you don't like, and that only comes a lot of times with experience. Now look, if a guy can go ahead and, find a woman as a virgin and be attractive and be able to understand how to navigate that, that's great in modern times. But the reality is a lot of guys don't. And I mean, even in your success story, you had to go through a lot of bad women to be able to identify your current wife as the one. So failures are good. They're good.
Yeah, failures, failures in the sense of socioeconomic or maybe even relationship failures could be good. But there's a difference with what I'm saying. I'm saying that we're warned against our soul. Jesus Christ commands us to marry one woman. That's it.
Sure.
And what you were causing me to do was sin against myself. And that's the point I'm trying to get to. It's immoral.
Yeah, I mean, you got to take personal responsibility, bro, because here's the reality.
No, I do, 100%.
Yeah, so
very publicly, I have in front of over 40,000 people. I've done that.
Yeah, great. But the point I'm trying to make is I teach guys a skill set, right? If I give you a gun and you shoot yourself in the foot, is that my fault? If I taught you how to properly use it, how to disarm it, disassemble it, how to load the magazine in properly, all that. If I give you the skill set, then you shoot yourself in the foot, right? Is that really my fault? No, I just arm you with the skill set. Then you choose what you want to do with it. Now, obviously, you wanted to go toward a sex escapade, which is, I guess, fine. But the reality is, I armed you with the tools to become an attractive guy.
The guy did not prove Myron wrong at all. He didn't show him how his life was damaged.
And you utilize that, you can't come back and get mad
No,
and
you
say,
didn't arm me with that. I became attractive when I followed Jesus. That was it.
oh, okay. Now it's changing the story.
No, I'm not changing any story. It's one thing to be attractive in the sense of gaining sexual partners, but it's a completely different thing to be attractive to someone that wants to marry you and spend their life with you and have kids with you. Those are two completely different sexual attractions. If I walk in here looking like Thor, I'm 6'2" and shredded, obviously I'm going to be attractive to women.
Looks like it was just a lifestyle change, which is fine. But he is putting down other lifestyles with no good reason they are wrong. It's good that he developed a sense of what kind of relationship he decided was best for him, but that doesn't mean it's superior. Monogamy is not for everyone. Polygamy isn't for everyone. Being single isn't for everyone. We are free to choose what is best for us.
But it doesn't mean that that's a relationship that produces value for me and my family.
And again, everyone is different, right? For you, it took some time, and you found God, and you shifted. But the reality is, I gave you the skill set, and then you choose what you want to do. That's up to you, and you made that decision, not me. I just taught you what to do,
exactly.
how to do it.
It's on me 100%. I'm not placing blame on you. But what I'm telling you,
other thing too that you got to understand
what happens when you speak to people and tell them to do these things.
Here's the other thing too. Like, now you're operating with 20/20 hindsight. You went through it. You experienced
Correct.
it. You
That's
know.
true.
A lot of guys need to get their hand burned sometimes to figure out how things work. Because let's be honest, men are very stubborn.
Why do they need to do that? If they find a God-fearing woman, they wouldn't do half the stuff you're talking about.
Well, here's the thing. Finding a God-fearing woman in today's day and age is a lot harder said than done, right? So
I did it.
Yeah, it's a lot harder
And
said
so did
than
everyone
done.
in my whole family. So it's not that hard.
Yeah, that's anecdotal from your perspective. But again, you learned the skill set. You were able to find a wife, and I'm happy about that. But you got to take a little bit of accountability here and understand that you basically got a loaded gun and shot yourself in the foot, and you're trying to blame me for it.
And I think your heart is in the right place, but I just wanted to give you from someone that actually listened to what you were saying to do, read your book, and it didn't work. That's all I was trying to do for you.
The guy may not like it, but he proved Myron right through sharing his story. He failed to demonstrate that he damaged himself and others. The damage the Christian has given was only about spiritual damage. There has been nothing to confirm that your way of having relationships with the opposite sex sends you to a place called hell, or that it angers a supernatural being somewhere in another world or realm. This has not been demonstrated. Just like every human being, well, many human beings on earth, we desire a higher purpose or a grand mission in life. And he's one of those. He was basically not content with his lifestyle and fulfilled it by another. Monogamy, for other people, it's not monogamy. He felt like he was violating a grand design, which he cannot confirm or demonstrate.
Well, actually, it did. You didn't notice it yet.
Okay.
You're not going to be able to identify your wife and have been able to find her and figure out what characteristics you like and don't like, right, unless you went through that.
My wisdom came from the Bible, not you, but I appreciate it.
Sure.
Thank you.
Okay.
It was not a mic drop. Even if the crowd applaud the guy, making an assumption here, many of them are not Christian. The crowd I'm speaking of. So if the guy preached to them about the Bible and what the Bible actually says, they would turn against him on a dime. They are just on his side simply because they don't like Myron. Just an observation there. That's my take. If you like my content, please like, subscribe, and comment. Original video is in the link below, and I'll catch you guys later.